Hello everyone and welcome back. My people, Nigeria is heating up again. This time it is about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The call for his release is making massive wave across the country, from activists to political figures. Yes, everyone is speaking up. Sowore has taken the lead, organizing what's becoming one of the most talked about protests of the year. Hashtag release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now. March at Aso Rock, and surprisingly, former President Atiku Abubakar has also lent his voice in full support of this movement. This has set shocking wave through the political space, with some praising Atiku Abubakar for standing on the side of fairness, while others accuse him of playing politics ahead of the future election. So people are even warning Igbos not to participate in this particular protest, that Sowore and all these people coming up, they just want to use Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for election. Just as I said yesterday, that anything that's going to bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out from that DSS custody, anything that's going to make Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to regain his freedom, like, we are supposed to be in full support of it, right? Because that man has suffered enough, my people. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is sick. So anything that's going to make him to regain his freedom, we are supposed to support it. So let me allow you guys to listen to what Rufai and Dr. Abati have to say concerning this matter. As well as other trending news in Nigeria. Take a listen. Do well to subscribe for more updates. Like the video so that YouTube will recommend it to other people to watch, and also share it. Thank you so much for doing so. Take a listen.
The terrorism trial of the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, on Wednesday was adjourned to October 16 following the Nigerian Medical Association's failure to submit its health assessment report. The Federal High Court in Abuja postponed Wednesday's proceedings after the Medical Association panel requested more time to finalize its findings. The court had previously ordered the president of the Medical Association to constitute a board of medical experts to investigate Nnamdi Kanu's alleged deteriorating health and determine whether DSS medical facilities are adequate for his care or if he should be moved to the National Hospital. The medical report is also expected to determine whether Nnamdi Kanu is fit to stand trial. Meanwhile, Abia State Representative Obi Agwocha, the House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, engaged in a heated 7-minute confrontation during Tuesday's plenary over Nnamdi Kanu's deteriorating health condition. Agwocha had raised the point of privilege, stating that a letter he submitted on August 26 to the House Speaker, the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu regarding Nnamdi Kanu's worsening health has yet to receive any response. He declared Nnamdi Kanu is on the verge of death. Let's take a look.
You don't shut me down. You also have the right.
Honorable,
It is important, Mr. Speaker, that this House
only when your
takes
privilege
cognizance
is compromised
of the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
that you can bring it up. And I thought that particular position is talking in respect of instances where the issues is beyond your control. But this is not what a letter from you to from yourself to me.
Yes, sir. The
When
letter
you
is
have
here.
as a member
Mr. Speaker.
direct access to come to my office and seek for explanation.
Mr. Speaker,
why?
I've been
Why
to
do
your
you have to
office.
go through this?
I've been to your office to seek the speaker.
Please.
Excuse me, sir. Can you read the order book, Rule 6 and subsection 2?
Oh, that was quite chaotic. The Speaker had questioned Agwocha's use of point of privilege to demand action, but Agwocha had insisted that it was a matter of life and death and that House rules entitled him to raise matters of privilege. The Speaker ruled him out of order, insisting that, the floor was not the right place for such follow-up. Well, the House of Representatives now scheduled to debate the motion concerning the urgent medical intervention for Nnamdi Kanu this week, following the point of order raised by Obi Agwocha seeking urgent action on the matter. Well, Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu intervened, assuring that the matter would be properly presented and heard by the House. Nnamdi Kanu has been in DSS custody since being extradited from Kenya in June 2021 and faces terrorism charges. Kurtz have repeatedly declined requests to allow him leave custody for medical treatment, despite growing calls for his release from Southeast stakeholders. Meanwhile, activist Omoyele Sowore has challenged Labour Party leader Peter Obi, Anambra State Governor Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, Governor Alex Oti, and other Southeast leaders to march to Aso Rock for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. In a post on Tuesday, Sowore said he will set aside his differences with some politicians for one cause, Nnamdi Kanu's release. He declared, "I challenge every politician or person of good conscience from the Southeast who says they want Nnamdi Kanu released to stop the rhetoric. The time for action is now." Sowore vowed to personally lead a peaceful march to the presidential villa, calling on every Southeast leader and concerned Nigerians to join. Sowore has been quite vocal right now for the Nnamdi Kanu release, obviously because of the lawyers and Nnamdi Kanu's deteriorating health, as it were. You know, they've been campaigning for him to be treated at the National Hospital or even taken out of the country. I mean, he remains innocent until proven guilty at this point. Dr. Abati.
Every accused person is innocent until proven guilty. And that's why they deserve fair hearing under Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution. But what are the issues? I'll try to run through them very quickly. Now, Honorable Obi Agocha was saying that Nnamdi Kanu is his constituent, and he has a right to raise an issue to defend the interests of his constituent, quoting Order 6, Rule 2. But the disagreement with the Honorable Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, was about procedure. But it's just as well that Honorable Benjamin Kalu has also intervened, and now the House, will still take a look at that matter, as Abbas insisted that due procedure should be followed. However, the issue has two legs to it. There is a political side that the Nigerian government has been dealing with. People from the East, interested parties like Sowore, saying that, look, you have to deal with this issue. It's not just law. Stricto sensu. You can find a political situation, and there are leaders from the Southeast who have been saying a political solution is a better option. Now, the Buhari administration did not take that option, saying that the matter was before the courts. Now they are also approaching the Tinubu administration to find a political solution to the matter of Nnamdi Kanu. Whether President Tinubu would take that advice or not remains to be seen. There are persons who have been saying that even with the aggressiveness from ADC and the opposition, maybe to win votes in the Southeast, President Tinubu should just release Nnamdi Kanu because that may translate into a political game. But it's up to the government of the day to look at that matter. After all, the Attorney General of the Federation has the powers under any case of this nature to enter in nolle prosequi. But that's politics. Now, as for law, the matter was before the Court of Justice James Omotosho. Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers had filed a no-case submission. But Justice James Omotosho decided in the last sitting on the matter that, in fact, there is a prima facie case that has been established by the prosecution that Nnamdi Kanu has to answer. If the no-case submission, appeal had worked, now the case will have been thrown out.
Right.
But the position in the law court is that no, there is a matter to be addressed. And Justice Omotosho also ruled that, look, in this particular matter, there are terrorism charges that have been established. And there are three that the defense lawyers could not establish a case of extraordinary rendition, which is, that he was abducted, from Kenya and brought to Nigeria by force. So the court, as at this moment, says there is a case to be answered. Secondly, Justice James Omotosho also said the NMA should form a committee on this matter of health to look at the condition of Nnamdi Kanu. And that matter, the NMA couldn't finish its work within the time frame given.
Right.
Now the matter has now been adjourned, I think, till October 16. So you have two issues to it: the politics of it, the legal part of it, and there's a third leg that is now being suggested by Omoyele Sowore,
yes,
that leaders of thought, leaders of conscience in the southeast, like Peter Obi, like Governor Soludo, should carry placards and go and demonstrate in front of Aso Villa, where the practicability of that remains to be seen, because these are stakeholders in their own right.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Mr. Peter Obi will want to carry a placards, and whether a governor will go and carry placards and march.
He's going to the Aso. He's going to.
Mr. Peter Obi wants to carry placards.
No, I said Omoyele said he's going to go.
Yeah. He can do it, but
he's inviting all Nigerians with conscience.
Yeah, the choice is for those leaders from the southeast. In this country where there is accidental discharge and where policemen are very quick to use tear gas, I don't know who will take that respect.
Yes.
Omoyele Sowore is an activist.
Yes, and everyone speaking up at this point, it is their right to speak up for what they see as injustice. Obiagwocha has been quite vocal. In fact, he's been nominated by Nnamdi Kanu as the chief negotiator with the federal government at this point. We will continue to follow up on the story. Well, in another development, the Federal High Court in Oshogbo, Osun State, has issued a fresh order directing the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to arrest former INEC chairman, Professor Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for contempt of court. The Action Alliance instituted the case challenging INEC and Yakubu over non-compliance with a court judgment ordering the commission to upload party chairman Adekunle Omoje's name and other National Executive Committee members on the INEC portal. Meanwhile, the National Secretary of CUPP, Peter Ame, has accused Professor Yakubu of damaging Nigeria's multi-party democracy during his 10-year tenure, saying under Yakubu, the opposition suffered. In the same vein, Yiga Africa's Samson Itodo acknowledged Yakubu introduced remarkable reforms like BVAS and IREV, but noted he left behind a weak INEC due to political interference. And he's not the only one saying this. Yesterday, when we took our milestone story, we actually talked about the fact that that is the legacy that Professor Mazi Nnamdi has left behind, the introduction of these technological advancements, IREV, BVAS. But can we really say
technical glitches?
No, can we
didn't want to add
no,
that?
He did introduce technical glitches as well, because the last presidential election, that's what I wanted to say, the last presidential election, that was the biggest glitch, I would say, by INEC. INEC dropped the ball during that election in 2023, the election that saw President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in power at this point. Your thoughts on the arrest? The arrest of Professor Mazi Nnamdi, and of course all of these people, what they've said so far.
So when the headline, when it broke yesterday, a number of people were wondering what did it be, what swift justice, just like that. He just tendered his resignation, and already a warrant for his address was out, or the court had ordered the IGP. But when you look closer at the story, you see that it was made on the 29th of September, this order, and it was before he tendered his resignation. It's around a matter that with the Action Alliance AA, where the court had ruled that their members, the Rufai led executive committee, should be listed on the INEC website, which you already talked about, and he didn't do it, he didn't comply. So at the heart of this is the lack of respect for the rule of law, or when courts rule and then you are cherry picking as to which to obey or not, or the timely fashion in which to do that. And so the court held him in contempt of court. The court before Justice Adefunmilayo Demi Ajayi held him in the Federal High Court in Abuja, in Oshogbo, held him in contempt and said he should also pay 100,000 naira to the plaintiffs. And that's what happened. So he has not yet been investigated for his actions in INEC, and maybe, that's what warrants the arrest. It was done while he was in office. So it would be now, the onus would now be the responsibility for the new acting chair of INEC, Mrs. Agbamuche, Mbu, to do her due diligence by restoring those names according to the court, prescribed court's judgment. Except INEC decides to appeal that judgment, they have a responsibility to do that.
Yeah.
So it speaks larger to what has happened in recent times with judgments by the court, obeying or lack of obeying, a contempt for court proceedings, a lack of respect for the rule of law. And again, Oji, talking about legacy, this might very well be part of his legacy as INEC chair. And I believe that Nigerians are still cooking, are still putting together notes on how to really analyze the tenure.
What do you mean the part of his legacy? The arrest?
Not respecting
not respecting court
held in
judgments,
contempt
yes.
of court.
Yes.
Part of it is that and when you talk about technical glitches, we still don't have a proper report from INEC or an explanation that Nigerians can understand as to what happened during the 2023 elections.
The 2023 presidential elections,
yes.
Specifically.
Even other acts would be also the Edo State governorship elections.
Yes.
Recall what happened in courts where the plaintiffs are accused that INEC didn't release the back end early enough to them. So there are many. If you look at a number of the elections that were done by INEC under the tenure of Professor Yakubu, there were a lot of criticisms around.
There was,
despite the electoral act that was meant to make the process more transparent, he didn't use that tool to leave a legacy that Nigerians would say he gave free and fair elections.
What was the point?
Conversation
what was the point of the introduction if you are not going to use it?
Let's look at the legal part of it. Yeah. Now, a judge in Osogbo has now given an order to say he should be charged for contempt. Now, that contempt, was the order given in personam or was it given against the institution? If it is given against the institution, then of course he's been rendered academic because he's no longer the chairman of INEC.
So do you know which it is?
We don't know. We need to know the details.
No, I'll tell you what the report is. Hold on, sorry. The report is that they should arrest Professor Mahmood Yakubu. That's the report.
Okay, in what capacity?
So he was mentioned in the suit.
In what capacity? He's no longer the chairman.
Yes.
The correction that the Action Alliance is looking for, which is that their name should be listed on the website, the chairman, national chairman of the party, and the others. Now, Mahmood Yakubu is no longer in a position to do it. However, Mary Agbamuchembu is a lawyer. Yes. They have a legal department. They will sort it out.
They will.
But
all right.
The thing about contempt is you can either be contemptuous in the face of the court or away from the face of the court. Okay. The court cannot act in vain. So if you go and arrest him now, to do what? Well, to offer what remedy?
Well, the matter.
Is it about offering a remedy or is it about
the fact that
the substance? That is what is called rem. Yes. The substance is the demand by the Action Alliance that they want to be listed. But, don't let me do their job for them. May Agbamuchembu will address all of this. She's a lawyer. Secondly, the point you were making about assessment. Yes. We said yesterday that the assessment will be mixed. Itodo, you quoted him. He praised him.
Yes.
Uriwa, Emmanuel Nwobiko, that's the name of the national coordinator. He's praising Professor Yakub Mahmood. But some other people will not praise him.
Well, in fairness, there's this also story about, how the Beavers helped the Osun election as well. The Beavers played a very critical role during the Adeleke bringing them. On that,
I would like to praise Mahmood.
Yes, on that note.
Because what happened was, when he did the by-elections, and the Beavers worked. We celebrated the
We did, yes.
I think that was what even segued into what happened in Edo State. It worked in Osho, it worked in Edo State. But he was also not on his guard. Then the politicians learned how to manipulate the system.
All right.
Then they beat him at his own game. That's where he lost it.
That's all right. Well, all right. We'll follow up on the story. Now to an update on yesterday's tragic story involving the late army officer, Lieutenant Samson Haruna, who was allegedly set ablaze by his wife during a domestic dispute. Well, a new audio recording, allegedly featuring the late lieutenant's wife, is circulating on social media where she says her husband's death was caused by a terrible accident and not a deliberate act. Mrs. Haruna, who is said to be in police custody, in the audio recording claims her husband accidentally kicked a gallon of fuel during their altercation on September 22nd, causing it to spill. She also alleged that her husband had threatened to set her ablaze if her parents didn't come to take her home, but maintained the fire outbreak was not intentional. She also accused the late officer of previously subjecting her to domestic violence, claiming one beating led to a miscarriage. According to her, while on his hospital bed at the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital, Lieutenant Haruna allegedly begged her to visit and pleaded with authorities to drop the case, admitting the fire was accidental before he succumbed to his injuries. Nigerians on social media have expressed mixed reactions, with some demanding justice for the deceased, while others call for a fair investigation into what truly transpired that night. And that's what we're calling for here. A fair, transparent investigation as to what truly transpired that night. We did see that, we did hear that audio recording allegedly featuring, and I say allegedly at this point because they say that she's in police custody. Where did she make the audio recording? But the story is just quite confusing. First of all, if you know, she said that the guy was in the storeroom and the petrol spilled, and then he was threatening her with a lighter to set that place ablaze. I mean, when did the fire start? Those are the sort of questions that Nigerians are asking on social media. We need this investigation. I thought it was important to highlight this story because we took it yesterday. We took the side of the family, the Haruna family. Now we are taking the side of the wife of the late lieutenant. Well, Mrs. Reti Haruna, did you want to say something, Ayo Rufai?
Just to say that I think this shows a light on domestic violence. Yes. From her accounts, we see that it didn't just start with that particular fight that unfortunately ended the life of her husband. Mm-hmm. This has happened for a long time, and then there are questions around: is there any place to seek help, or do people, men, man or woman, seek help when they are in a domestically, abusive relationship? I think that's important because this could have been cut short and we would not have escalated to this if they had already found solution when if her claims about him beating her, in the early part was true. However, this is the importance of investigations, despite when you hear one side of the story. There's a side, the other side, and the truth. So what Nigerians want is for us to get to the bottom of the truth as to what really happened in that household, and whoever is found guilty brought to the book. That's what we want.
I said something yesterday, Audrey. I was talking to Aya and Dr. Abati. I said the most important part in a conversation when people are about to come together is not about love. At some point, I'll feel good about you, I will not feel good about the person.
Yes.
The butterflies in my stomach will not be there every time. But the most important conversation should be a conflict resolution mechanism. If both of you cannot agree on how to manage conflicts, then please don't be together. Because as human beings, we will always have conflicts.
Yes.
As long as we breathe, we'll have conflicts. But if two people are coming together and they want to be together, they must think about conflict resolution mechanisms. So, for everybody going out on a date today or this night, ask that person you're on a date with, in your worst moment of anger, would you still love me and listen to me?
Yes. Your spouse can make and break you.
That's it.
And this is why
violence is unacceptable.
Important to choose the right partner.
Unacceptable.
And
then people should seek mental health counseling. A lot of people are not okay. They are not normal.
Yes.
You see people who are dressed and all that. So there should be mental health counseling.
Absolutely.
And then family should also be involved.
Yes.
Sometimes family is a problem.
Sometimes family is a problem. You're absolutely right. Yes.
Okay.
No, I know that.
Tell
Especially we've had so many stories about family involvement with marriages and all of that. No, you just have to keep being prayerful. Everything hopefully just, comes down to understanding your spouse and loving each other when you are in a relationship. Well, I pray, for, this man and his family. I pray that they get some sort of comfort. May his soul continue to rest in peace. And I hope, like I said, the investigation is speedy. Let's now take this story in Delta State, where students of the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, IFURUM, on Wednesday trooped out in protest against an alleged tuition fee hike By the institution's management, the protesters carried placards and various inscriptions condemning the purported fee increase, which allegedly raised tuition from 87,000 naira to 144,000 naira 500 for returning students and 194,000 naira 500 for final year students. You can. I mean, this is such a strange development. Meanwhile, the university management had denied authorizing any free increment. However, in a dramatic turn of events, the Senate held an emergency meeting and resolved that the 2024-2025 session has come to an end with immediate effect, directing all students to vacate halls of the residence and premises by 6 p.m. Wednesday, with warnings of disciplinary actions for non-compliance as seen in this letter shown on screen. If we had that letter, we would pull it up. We saw this letter. We haven't been able to reach the Senate at this point, but it is quite unfortunate. I mean, the school, the student union, it's quite unfortunate that this is what happens at, at this sort of institution. People come out to protest and then you say, go home. We need to follow up. I have placed a call and hopefully we'll follow up on that.
Welcome to